Okay, well, I would move to approve the revised agenda as presented.
Second the motion.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item is public comment, and you're all here. Good morning. All right. Third item, review/action regarding approval of May 21st, 22nd, and June 4th meeting minutes.
And I would move to approve those minutes as presented.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Fourth item, review/action regarding approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
And second?
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Fifth item on our agenda that was approved is review/action regarding Floyd County Local Disaster Declaration. Since yesterday's meeting, we did come up with a revised declaration. Since then, I know the governor has gone ahead and posted a proclamation for disaster recovery and is including Floyd County plus some other counties. So the question I did pose is that
Is Leslie going to come for this? She mentioned yesterday she did, but
that I don't know. We can call and see if she wants to come up. You know, and I'm glad to hear that the governor has done that. It's especially, it appears to be helping with the individual assistance.
she doesn't be there.
Okay. So the question I had posed is, you know, would we still want to do this? Is it necessary? Do we, you know, just to even declare it as a board? And so I'm opening that up. I mean, we certainly can if it,
At this point, what would it hurt to have too many disasters? What this one does is open up that, the one that we talked about yesterday, the
local assistance.
local assistance.
Actually, this doesn't do that.
No,
The governor's declaration does that.
correct.
But I would agree, it doesn't matter. I mean, we have a disaster. I don't think if it was done yesterday or today matters. Glad the governor took her action. I think we should go ahead and follow through with this. I see no harm with that.
I guess that was my feeling too, is that it certainly doesn't hurt. I think I'm glad too to see that the governor did take action on this. And so with that, let's see, the revised, was that in our packet then? The revised one, Gloria,
Yeah,
that
the
we
one
put together?
that I'd emailed Leslie it starts June 7th.
Why don't I take that, and I'll just read it, so everybody can, we revised some of the verbiage on it, but it says Floyd County has suffered from tremendous damage due to high winds, heavy rains, and flash flooding that occurred on June 7th, and ongoing occurrences, causing several damage to public and private property, disruption of utility service, and endangerment of health and safety of the citizens of Floyd County within the disaster area. Therefore, as per Iowa Code 331.301.1, the Floyd County Board of Supervisors has declared a state of emergency, finding it necessary to seek funding resources and services from outside its jurisdiction, including but not limited to state, federal, and other mutual aid to remedy damages to public and private sectors. Did you want to reference that? I know we had looked at that yesterday.
It's the correct code. It wasn't in the one that she passed out yesterday, so I just wondered if that was the correct code section.
330, that's what's in the
331.301.
Gotcha. Here it is.
I don't know, it's not a resolution. I think it's just a declaration that we're approving to be signed by the Board of Supervisors.
Was there a need to change and delete the June 7th reference?
No, at first
Well,
she responded there was, and then she said she had her dates wrong, and that it should be June 7th, which is when Dusty started having road issues
Okay.
with all the heavy rain that we had Thursday night, Friday morning.
All right.
So she said it should be June 7th.
That occurred on June 7th.
Correct.
And ongoing.
And ongoing occurrences,
The
which is the
9th
way
was
we wrote it.
Saturday when the Rockford issue happened, but she said it should start June 7th when Dusty's issue started with roads.
All right, I'd make a motion to declare the Floyd County local disaster declaration, to approve it.
Second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. All right, we'll get that signed. Next item on the agenda is review/action regarding agreement between Floyd County and Prohaska and Associates for the Law Enforcement Center and Courthouse Updates Project. Again, it's not a contract, it's an agreement between both of us.
And I'm ready to move on to that, so I would move to approve that agreement between Floyd County and Prohaska and direct the chair to sign that.
I think we had a good discussion about this yesterday, and everyone's been able to weigh in on it, and I think it's been modified and improved, and I'd second the motion.
All right. Motion made and seconded to approve the agreement between Floyd County and Prohaska and Associates. Further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. All right. Item 7, review/action regarding request for funding a county-wide housing needs assessment.
This was from the Air Development, obviously you guys been talking about that housing needs.
Yes, we did. I didn't know there was a proposal before the board.
Tim sent that out mid-May to all of you.
It mentioned that 33,000.
So the request for proposal went out to 3 firms. We anticipate total project cost to be approximately $50,000.
There it is now.
Great. We're just on this item on our agenda.
Already?
Good timing.
Wow.
So please join us, Tim
Well,
Fox.
thank you. You guys are speedy.
Not always.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so we see this letter that was sent to the Board of Supervisors.
Yes.
So if you could give us an update.
Well, as you know, we're probably a little bit behind in doing a housing needs assessment. And part of that was uncertainty about how to get the funding and where's it coming from. And we decided that we were going to go with nationally recognized firms as opposed to the Council of Governments, who couldn't do it till December anyway. So we issued 3 requests for proposals to national firms, and we got 2 back. Now we're acting today on which one to pursue. There's quite a bit of difference in price.
Do you have your RFP back?
Yes,
Okay.
How much of a difference in price?
26,000 versus 46,500.
That's quite a bit.
So what I've done is followed up on as many references as I could from the firms, and the housing committee will have to decide whether it's worth that extra $21,000 to go with one firm over the other firm.
You got 2 out of the 3 back?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to know the firms?
well, I see you
We
have
have-
in your letter, it was Gruen and Associates, and
Yes.
Light Force was one of them, Maxfield Research and
Yes.
Consulting.
Yep.
And then there was a third one, RDG Planning and Design.
And they did not
And
respond.
they are not the ones who responded. Okay, so it's up to the first 2 that were mentioned.
Yep.
And just reading their proposals back, that you don't have a good feel for what the difference, why there would be such a range.
I think the difference is that the lower price firm has done significantly more housing needs assessments in Iowa. If that tells you any way which way I'm leaning.
So what you mentioned in here, again, when you sent this letter, was before you got the proposals back. So you had mentioned the total project cost approximately $50,000.
When I got that, I had received the first one back and it came in at 46.5.
Okay, all right.
And the $26,000 one is $25,000 to do the study, which includes Nashua. $700 in travel and $300 in printing.
It's all of Floyd County plus Nashua.
Yes.
The 33,000 we have not taken care of, it's just an item, it's just 33,000 in the general fund, it's no longer committed because of what we did.
Correct. It's not, depending on when you do it, I don't think you are going to be ready to have anything spent by June 30th.
Correct.
And so, at some point, you may need to amend your fiscal year 19 budget because it was never planned to be in there. But the line item it would come out of, you have time before you would have to amend that budget.
So is this meeting then, Tim, just to give us an update on where you're at with the housing project and the RFPs and the proposals?
Pretty much, and then once we decide on a firm, we'll get back to you.
Okay,
Go
so you'll
from
be
there.
coming back
Yeah.
and letting us know. So the RFP response deadline is the 25th, so we're beyond, so you only have the 2 proposals in.
Yep. And I think either one would do a very good job. But as I mentioned, it's pretty much a matter of one has more experience in doing it than another.
At what time do you think the committee would make a recommendation on which?
2 o'clock today.
Oh, 2 o'clock today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the intent of having it on your agenda was that you could approve it so Tim knew whether or not you were going to have funding from the previous meeting, or whether or not you would agree to use that 33,000 or what portion of that 33,000 for that. So this would give him direction if you took action today, he knows when he goes back.
Right now, we don't know if it's going to be $33,000 or 26.
Right,
or
that's where
what
I'm at
amount,
too,
so-
and
But
I
that's
just
what-
assumed, yeah, so that was the
that's where
reason
you
for it
could
being
say-
on there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You could say-
in that case, I'd make a motion to table action on the housing needs assessment, and we need to table that until a future date, and so if your committee's going to meet, table it till our next regular meeting,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
which is in 2 weeks.
I think that's a good idea.
Very good.
I like the idea of paying for a portion of it. I don't want your decision to be made on the fact that we're gonna fund it all or part of it.
Right,
Yeah, they decide.
right.
Yeah. I can see where that would easily sway a decision. Well, I would second that, the idea that we'd table.
All right, motion made and seconded to table this until our next regular meeting, and Tim will look for you to come back then and give us an update on that. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks very
We'll
much.
see you at our next meeting then.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will you be around later this week, before Friday's meeting?
Yep.
Okay, I'll call you and set up a time to come visit.
Okay.
Great.
All right, next item on the agenda. Item 8, which is review/action regarding the Floyd County employee parking policy, which after yesterday, we had good discussion. I'm not sure that I don't believe that there's action to take today, because I think, the point was well made that we need to give time for the public to respond or to provide feedback. Or anybody else, that wants to share information. So I think what I'd like to do is just let this sit for a while, and let's just see, and give that time for the public to go ahead and respond. I do know, I appreciate it, Bob, it was in, I saw the press today, and if we can get the information out, even on KCHA, and, you know, let people know that we're looking for feedback, you know, let them tell us if they have concerns with our parking. It's short-term versus long-term that we're still really gonna have to look at what happens when we're in construction. So it isn't just a one-time, I think, review of this. What do we wanna do long-term also? We know that we're gonna have to have that review, and I don't see any reason why we can't start thinking down that path now, because it's gonna be here before we know it, so. And we do wanna make sure that we're protecting the public so that we can give them the best, you know, parking that we can, and our employees, but yet it's a safety issue too, you know, on where is the best location for everybody really to be able to park and easily access our courthouse, because we're going to continue to do business here. So if you're okay with tabling that?
Fine, I'm fine. In the meantime, I'm going to be thinking about some ways that we might be able to add some more spaces for public to park here in the existing parking lots.
Okay.
And make that part of the consideration.
Sounds good. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, so we will table this for now.
You need a motion.
Yeah, do we need a motion to table it? Okay.
All right, I'd move to table the consideration of the employee parking policy until usually need to set a specified date. 2 weeks, what do you think? Longer?
2 weeks, our next regular meeting?
All right. Sounds good to me. To our next regular meeting in 2 weeks.
All right, motion made and seconded to table this for our next meeting. Further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item, review/action regarding Floyd County Employee Wellness Policy. I know we talked about that yesterday.
I provided you with one based on your description. I'll pull it out for you there, Mark.
Oh.
I put the 150 in that line item. I don't, thinking that might be what you want to go with there. And I did add,
This is
Did
the
you see
wellness
that?
policy only, the handbook is the next item.
yes.
Correct.
Actually,
Yeah.
we should probably see if Dusty wants to, if he's available to come up to talk about this because of the.
Well, the other thing too,
vision part of it.
and we talked about, maybe what we could do is just go ahead and hold on these two line items too until Dusty comes, because he's going to be coming up anyway, and being part of our agenda. So why don't we do that? So let's
Okay.
just hold on these two line items. So we're going to hold on item 8, or item 9, and also item 10, because that affects them. So we will jump to item 11, which is review/action regarding agreement between the Floyd County and Floyd County Sheriff's Association. We do have an update on this, and I am asking that we need to probably discuss this as a board outside of this agenda, this particular meeting. So what I would like to ask both of you, if we can, after our meeting, go into a contract negotiation discussion. I have asked Sheriff Crooks to come down too, so that we can have the discussion with him, because we did learn more in our conversation yesterday with Mike Galloway. So I want to make sure that we're all in agreement on where we're going with that. So the contract right now, until we talk with Sheriff Crooks about that, would not be ready for us to approve.
Okay.
Sounds
So if
good.
you're okay with that? All right. So again, do we need to make a motion on this to table then the review/action regarding an agreement between Floyd County and Floyd County Sheriff's Association?
I would move to table this action for a time period.
26.
Till
It needs,
the-
we have to have a contract by July 1. So
Next
The
regular
next
meeting.
meeting.
should work.
Table this action until the next regular meeting.
All right, second.
All right. Motion made and seconded to table this into our next regular meeting. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Item 12, review/action regarding a liquor license application for the Floyd County Fair Society. Now, this is their yearly application?
Yes. This license is effective July 1. I've yet to receive the DROM insurance, but the DROM oftentimes doesn't come until it gets a little closer to the renewal date. But the ABD has been, as I mentioned with a prior license, the ABD is a little slower sometimes in getting the actual licenses out. And so my request to you is that you would approve it pending DROM insurance approval. And then as soon as that DROM comes through, otherwise if we wait until the June 26th meeting, they wouldn't have a physical license by July 1st.
So you're on motion, contingent on them obtaining
Motion to approve pending the DROM.
we move to approve the liquor license for the Fair Society contingent on them obtaining their insurance certificate.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion passed. All right, item 13, review/action regarding Fifth Amendment to the Coordination Services contract between the Iowa Department of Human Services, Floyd County, and the FMC Decategorization Governance Board. That's always a mouthful.
Well, this is another amendment. I missed the meeting that this was approved, so I really can't speak to it.
I was at that meeting, if you'd like me to say.
Sure.
anything. Yeah. So we have been doing this CPPC is a contract for, this is the DCAT contract, sorry, looking wrong. DCAT contract is for services for Jenna Hagelin to do coordination. At the meeting, the board approved a budget for this $65,000 for the coordination services and supplies and that type of thing. And Jenna's responsibilities are to do just that, coordinate efforts where there are gaps for funding for services to the public. So she works closely with the DHS department and with service providers in 7 counties to help find remedies to pick up where there's gaps for services. The DCAT money is money that is decategorized by the state that was unused and allowed for spending for this type of program across the state.
Is there any major changes from what we've had?
No, basically the dollar amount is what is not necessarily known, so it just confirms the dollar amount on the program.
Was there any issues or concerns that were brought up at the meeting on this from others?
No issues. The board does a good job, I think, of looking at the needs of the 7 communities and 7 counties. And trying to meet those needs.
Okay.
Do you see an issue with it?
I think that's a good description of the program and what the goals are. I'd move the approval of the Fifth Amendment to the contract between the DHS and Floyd County and the FMC Decategorization Governance Board.
Okay.
Second that.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 14, review/action regarding contract declarations and execution for the community partnerships for protecting children.
This one is in a different email to you, or a different, it's multiple pages, so it's got lots of double pages, boilerplate language from the state. And this is for the CPPC, the Community Partnerships for Protecting Children, and this is a contract that between Floyd County and DHS. The governance board does kind of work with this. Jenna's title is a dual title. It's DCAT coordinator as well as CPPC coordinator. So she again works with the counties to. This is kind of geared more towards community type events, outreach type events, such as the August event that they do, like Kids Night Out in the park. Helps with programs such as graduation ceremonies for children who have maybe struggled to get to that point of graduation but have had successes along the way. Helps support funding of that type of thing. It's almost like another gap in services that helps children of all ages.
So in this, are we the contract manager? No.
We're the recipient of the
Community
funds.
liaison?
We're the recipient of the funds through DCAT, and Jenna provides the coordination services for how to disseminate the funds.
And again, we have any issue with
No.
what they're doing?
They're, again, both good programs. We're fortunate to have this program and the
I
DCAT
agree.
program. Some communities don't tap into these resources of state funds, and so we're very fortunate that we are reached. If we didn't, someone else would grab the funds.
Right, I agree. I think it's a great program from everything that I've learned about it.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate, like you said, that we have that.
Both of these programs, we are fiscal agents and employer of record for Jenna, and we do get compensated for that as well.
We move to approve the, is it DCAT or is it CBC?
This one's CPPC, the Community Partnerships for Protecting Children.
Community Partnership for Protecting Children contract.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. The next one, do we need Dusty?
I just lost my agenda, so what do I do with it? Where are you at?
Okay, so we are on item 15, review/action regarding resolution 17-18, bridge load posting located on secondary road system.
Yeah, that's Dusty.
Yeah, go ahead.
Engineer's office.
Hey Janet, is Dusty available?
Yep, he's just about ready to leave here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And also then it'd be interesting to get Dusty's update on all the roads in the county and,
Yesterday I drove from Mud Rock to Nashua on gravel roads. And it is not one locality, it's every locality. I don't think there's a place where there's both body of water and not over the road.
yeah.
There's a tremendous amount of damage down there.
Yeah, when I know we drove it, it was that close to you.
Yeah.
You know, that Packard Ocean, 270th, all that whole area.
I was on 290th Street most of the time. Yep.
And just seeing it right now is a reminder to people how important it is that they heed, you know, these flash floods and not try to go through them, because after you see the damage that are done to these roads, I can't imagine if cars had tried. I do know I looked at the Cedar River stage this morning, and it's a little over 10, so it's been dropping.
They talked about it, there was a flood of water up there someplace that was gonna come through, so it might actually go back up again.
Possibly, but what Austin is showing right now, let's see, we're at 7.91.
No.
Yeah, this is current.
So I think it got to 12.5.
And up by Orchard, 7.42. Charles City's at 10.32.
Linda, do you want to sign some documents?
I can do that while we're waiting for Dusty. Yes. And then I'll call Kurt too on that after our meeting.
Can't really align it, but it's one of yours, but-
There's no line? Where do I sign? Right under
Say
it?
above your name, maybe? I'm
No.
not sure. And the eyes will just sign it.
Yeah, let me look. That was on the revision, so this is probably, or not? This is on page 25. That's what I was thinking. Is this last page is like all the changes?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I mean,
I
you
can
can sign
ask
it in
her.
both, or you can ask, it looks like they've signed it on both. Possibly.
Okay, there's that. Okay, there's that one. Okay. Thank you.
The declaration, you have that declaration.
What is-
This one's good, you can send it to this one. I didn't do it.
Okay. And then I will get a hold of Scott Johnson, because they have a council meeting in Rockford on Thursday night, and they also could do, they're looking at doing just a resolution, also as a community. Okay, there's that. Hey, Dusty.
Ready for me?
Join us. Okay, let me go back to my agenda. We are on Item 15, which is review/action regarding resolution 17-18, which is the bridge load posting located.
I forgot that whole folder.
Okay, all right.
I didn't know you had a copy up here. I could have just got all the ones you already had.
Okay. Again, resolution 17-18, bridge road load posting located on secondary road system.
Yeah, and this is a bridge on the Chickasaw County line, up in the northeast part of the county. And it's just a recommendation from our inspection consulting firm to lower the limits.
Oh, right.
Substructure has deteriorated enough to lower it to the 11, 17, 18, so
Okay.
I mean, I just
So
recommend.
it's been a embargo on that one before.
Yeah, it's just lowering it down some.
Which one is that?
It's up northeast part of the county, right at the county line. Basically, sorry about that. Right up here,
Okay,
about 2.25 miles south of the northeast corner of the county.
okay. It's not that full called Cook Mountain Bridge, the one.
No.
What street is it?
Is that Asher? Get my face right in the camera. Addison Avenue. It can be right about there.
Oh, I know that area.
So it's section 36. Quarter mile south of 120.
Move to approve resolution 17-18.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Right. We passed on a couple line items, waiting for you to come.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump back up.
You bet.
All right, so we have one on item 9 again, review/action regarding Floyd County employee wellness policy. I know, jump to another topic. So again, what we've got right now is it's setting at $150 every year. From our discussion with you yesterday, we added in the safety glasses. What was the other thing that we?
Well, that's from the discussion with Mike. That's what we wanted to talk
Okay.
with Dusty about.
I'm open to whatever you guys talked about. How's that sound?
That's accommodating.
I'll just accommodate for everything. Here's what I'm trying to look at the different counties. I mean, I have a different thing in Chickasaw than I do here in Floyd. The policy here, which
$200 for vision every other year.
right,
$50
For
for.
wellness.
wellness, and I know that change on that risk committee went to talking about the 150 per year.
Correct.
Our policy, which we negotiated with it when it was under the union contract before, was we worked with the optometric center, and they came back, and the current year, which we just have, was for evaluation, the visit, the lens, the fitting, and the materials, and our rate was $178.60 that we paid to secondary level employees that needed safety protective glasses.
Out
With
of your
that-
budget.
Right, out of my budget, and with, oh gosh, I was just panicking this morning trying to get everything together. Go back to the old union contract, which states that in order to promote safety and well-being of its employees, Floyd County will purchase safety glasses for its regular full-time employees who have completed their probationary period with the following stipulations. Employees must order and wear safety glasses on job at all times in order to be reimbursed as part of this cost hereafter set by Floyd County. There's a whole little paragraph thing there that talk about it. Floyd County would pay for one eye exam every 2 years. It is every 2 years. Floyd County would pay for safety lenses and frames each time when need to do vision change. Employees not requiring prescription lenses may requisition new stock Plano glasses and frames from the safety foreman. So there we're offering our protection devices as per like OSHA standards or whatever needs to be done. Employees must have a bill from the optometrist broken down as follows: the prescription, the safety lens and frames, the examination, Floyd County's portion to pay. Maximum payments by the county for items 5, B, and C will be set each year. We negotiate that with the optometric center is what we've done. So, that being said, it's whatever policy that I can write similar to what this states and this states to not overlap maybe with what your county-wide policies for everybody.
Do you just pay the optometrics whenever?
Yes. Yeah, we write a check to the optometric center for 20-some employees. Now, I'm not sure if this rate will change. I may have to talk to them because my thinking was, okay, do we not include the exam, but I pay for the portion of the safety glasses? And then that way, it's because it's required. I'm open to however we need to write this. And that was the discussion yesterday a little bit, or how you guys feel the county-wide one. Yet I'm paying for a portion of the safety glasses because I do need to provide them with safety glasses.
I think the safety glasses is a complete separate issue than this thing. I mean, if you're requiring somebody to wear that personal protection equipment, you should probably pay that.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily say I have to pay for the exam, but if they could use the exam under the vision thing, but then I would pay for the protection device as required by me for them to wear it. Maybe that makes more sense.
You
That's what I
know,
would
our
say.
discussion yesterday is, you know, and I agree, you know, you don't want employees to be able to double dip, you know,
Right.
but knowing that you've got these requirements, I think to me that makes sense to go ahead, like you said, and maybe continue to have your, you know, separate agreement on the OSHA required safety glasses.
I think the difference may be, do you do the exam or not? I mean, to me, if I
Yeah.
did the exam, is that giving a benefit on top of then the other part of the county-wide one? Or do I just pay for the personal protective devices per my policy and not include that exam, but if they go to the exam as they're
Your
need to
policy
do?
was part of the old contract, which
Correct.
was only for
Secondary
reference
road.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm open to whatever you guys, but I mean, they
My
should
thing-
I should provide the protective stuff like I do for anybody that doesn't have glasses. We provide them with this
I
stuff.
agree,
And that makes sense to me.
absolutely.
And to me, they're not out anything if I
Right.
provide them payment for the protection prescription glasses at a rate that's determined. The maybe the middle of the road thing here is the exam.
Yeah.
Did you want to tell them what
No,
Mike said?
why don't you go ahead
No,
and
go
just
ahead.
mention, you
Mike?
know, as far as
Mike
Mike's.
Galloway, we talked to Mike about several different things yesterday.
Yeah.
And Mike suggested that there only be one reimbursement program, and that your guys would fall under this, and that we change the wellness policy that wouldn't prohibit safety glasses.
That covers
Because
me.
you were providing you have options that meet OSHA's requirements for glasses with standard
Yeah.
OSHA personal protective equipment.
Sure.
And that they, if they want something different than what you provide, then they use this policy.
I'm open either way because I think the old way you followed what my union thing because it excluded it,
Yeah,
Yes.
and so they couldn't do that.
right,
Yeah.
And I think that's what Mike was trying to get at. I think my
Right.
point is that if you took out the visit alone, then that cost is $80 for the protective devices. But if
yeah.
If we're stating that this vision policy is to cover for those, then they are getting covered still.
And so it'd still be kind of the every other year thing that,
Yeah, and this
Can
was
see
every
it
2
both
years, so you
ways.
gotta remember that, this was every 2 years.
Right.
So,
I can see it both
And again,
ways.
ultimately, what we're trying to do is to go down to one
Yeah.
way, one policy that works for everybody.
right, and I'm thinking anybody in conservation or anybody that would need safety
And
devices
conservation
could
may
get
be in
that.
some
It's
situation
just
too,
like-
and that's what we talked about.
And
It's just like
as long
they
as
want-
that cost covers the cost of the material, then I am providing them with the safety devices. Not necessarily covering the 100% of the exam,
Right.
but
To me, it's just like public health. I mean, Gail provides gloves, she provides eyeglasses when they do exams.
Mhm.
We're giving you with this wellness policy, we're giving you a way to get your eyes examined, but when you need OSHA-approved glasses to work on your job, they can wear them on your job, provided by you, and then when they want to be someplace else, they can use their other glasses that's provided through this. Or-
yeah, but I think Mike's not saying to do that.
Mike's not saying that, he's saying
Do
have
one.
one policy, add into our policy the
That they can
use
get
of
the safety
these
glasses.
dollars for safety glasses.
He's saying Dusty provides them options for safety glasses. They may not prefer to wear the goggles over the top of their regular glasses, but it meets OSHA requirements. And if they want something different than that,
They would
then they
follow
could
this
spend
policy.
$150.
As long as you're
using
allowing the
policy.
safety glasses to be purchased that way. You're providing them. I'm gonna go the vice versa here, is that Chickasaw County does not have a county-wide vision policy.
Yeah,
They do not offer anything.
yeah,
So there is, I have
Yeah.
another policy
for them.
in-house,
For the
secondary
OSHA
roads,
part of
but
it.
all we provide is the material, not the exam.
So
Yeah.
So that's similar to what I was trying to say. If you wanted to,
Right.
I could continue with the policy that I'm gonna cover, but the exam not be covered. But if we go under that, that's fine too. I'm okay with that, as long as we're providing them something.
Yeah. It's,
It's given that option to allow those safety glasses to be purchased that way.
and again,
See
for
those
those that
things?
want to just go
And
ahead
this
and
always-
use what you provide, I mean, this 150 then can be used for other reasons too. It could be
And I
for
think that's
their,
what you're saying. I mean, if I
their
provide
personal
them with
glasses
something
or,
like the ones that go over top of the glasses, you know, they prefer not to have those.
Right.
If this is saying we're offering that to them and everybody else in the county, if someone needs them, or if they just have contacts.
and or, well, and this also.
Or an exam,
and
or wellness.
Wellness reasons too. You know, the
Yeah.
150 to be used.
We knew this was gonna be a work in progress going through this stuff. And Mike says we can always see how the glitches come and address it as things come up too. I don't know. So, good, yeah.
Okay. So I think what I like is that we can try to, drive towards one policy that works for everybody. If we're able to do that, if you're okay with that, Dusty?
I'm open to that as long as it's providing the chance for them to get the stuff they need, yeah.
So if we pass this, then you can write your policy according to what we've done here.
I wouldn't even write a
You
I wouldn't
policy.
even write a
I
policy.
wouldn't even do
just
one.
go away.
other than provide
Maybe.
OSHA.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Goggles,
normal safety
right.
stuff like we have to
Right.
do anyways, the PPEs. Or PPDs.
PPEs.
PPEs.
PPE,
Equipment.
personal
Protective equipment, yeah, PPEs.
PPE.
so again, this line item, I just want to remind everybody, is not just this part of it for the secondary roads. It was a big part of it because we were trying to fine tune the wording, to include or make a decision about secondary roads. This is also to talk about, whether or not we want to go with $150 every year and include then and combine the wellness with the vision. So those are the biggest changes. Was there anything else that,
I added massages as exclusion.
That would be, who's,
okay,
who's
that
going
was
to,
yesterday's.
every time we have a question, is this board gonna
Okay.
talk about that, or who's gonna talk about that, or?
So that's why I want you to kind of nail it down so my office could administer it through our payroll side. And I added exercise classes like aerobics, yoga, etc. on there as well.
Are we talking about dance?
Well, again,
We talked,
it's what I say all the
It just
time.
goes
Only
on.
have to make rules for the ones who abuse it.
And removed the statement that that they no longer have, if they're in a part of a union, that they're not eligible. I removed that because of this.
Yeah, because if we're eliminating that, then that's not
Yeah.
really needed.
So that's what you have in front of you.
Yep.
It's this version.
And I'm good with that if you are.
I'm open as long as they're provided something to get that point. Now, I know on this with 20-some guys going, we did get a discount. But here, it's kind of on their own, and then prices are going to be what they do when they go to broach that subject.
Right. Right.
I'm glad you guys have a county-wide vision policy. That's the big thing, I think.
All right.
I'm good. I would move to approve Floyd County wellness policy. Is there a number on it?
No.
You want to review it?
Okay.
Second.
Second. All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion passed. Next, you're not off the hook yet, Dustin.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, next item is review/action regarding the Floyd County Employee Handbook, which I know we've had lots of discussion around. We talked about these yesterday, was,
I don't have a new one.
So, from what you had yesterday, I've got a hard copy for each of you here too.
yeah, okay.
From what you had yesterday, the only thing that changed was that one item under the vacation that talked about the hire date as their
Oh, yeah.
anniversary date because of the, we do have, that typically is, except for if we have part-time people who have gone to full-time, we'll adjust their benefit date. Rather than using their full-time hire date, we give them credit for their part-time employment.
Right.
They get 6 months credit for every year worked part-time, so we have an adjusted date in there.
What page was that?
That was on page 10, which for some reason there must be a margin thing, because page 10 reads as page 1, but it's page 10.
Well, I was gonna say.
I got confused
I'm
I got confused on that
confused.
I know, I don't know why that, when it was printed, it's like, what
That's the
happened
only
here?
page it does that.
Yeah, I know, I don't know why it does that. Must be some funky margin thing on there or something. So, Dusty, some things that were talked about that you might be interested in were the call time.
Right, that if they work,
The call time allows any employee to get 2 hours of call-in pay if they come in outside of their regular hours. So it's what you had, that would apply for all employees. And then the section for overtime, this is what he put in for overtime. So you've got a section, I'm gonna give it to this one, you can read it better on here. Here. So it's got a section for you, and it's got a section for other employees, unless the Board of Supervisors wants to pay any employee that works Saturday and Sunday automatically getting time and a half. If so, then A comes, there isn't an A and B, there's just an A. And that's page 8. Here, so these are read here.
Oh, that's fine.
think
You
that's
think my eyes are
right.
getting bad or what?
Yeah, I think that's.
didn't get
good.
old. It was
Does
my
that
birthday
A and B?
last week.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
the markup, yeah. You look at that one, I'll look at this one. And then he added some things that were just language they're putting in contracts because of state and federal law changes, so there's a few markups to those type of things. We removed that in 2.8 that if the employee doesn't provide 2 weeks' notice, they didn't get paid out their vacation time. We've removed that. But we did add in the vacation section that if an employee is here for less than 1 year, they forfeit their vacation accrual that they built up in that time.
Gotcha.
If they leave before that.
We talked about that.
Yeah, and then he reworded in 5.1, that sick pay, I think this reads much better now.
Yeah, we were questioning how it was originally written.
Yeah. That, he doesn't even reference the 120 days, he just references anything over 90 days.
Go back to that overtime, you said, if you wanted to be the same for everybody, you just eliminate A and just have paragraph B.
No, you'd eliminate
Eliminate B
B
and
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 only
only have
change
A.
A from being secondary roads employees would be
To everybody.
everybody.
Everyone else is, you have to work 40 hours everyone else is, what the Fair Labor Standards Act minimum is that you have to work 40 hours before you get overtime pay. Physically work 40 hours before overtime pay. And I guess with an event like the flood this weekend, and I know I was working downstairs on Saturday night and part of Sunday, and I heard secondary roads over the radio many times. Those guys were working. I think the last one I heard was 11 o'clock when I left here.
Yeah, they were till,
So I get it. The secondary roads is treated a little different.
I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I'm a, so it would be so much easier for the auditor's office if we just made it one way.
It doesn't. Martha does payroll for secondary roads anyway, so she just pushes the file to us. So.
And it's kind of dusty school.
Doesn't matter to me either.
we know what the Fair Labor Standard Act is, and to me, the above 8 is an important thing. Whether it's for the other departments, I have no problem, and obviously it's a budgetary item, and it doesn't happen a lot for some of the other departments. So I'd be in favor for everybody to have the same. I know that, and I'll give you an example of this week. Friday, we got hit with 8 inches of rain and mud, and we worked till whatever time. It was 5, 6 o'clock. So if someone was off on vacation or was gone for half a day on Tuesday or Wednesday, or say it was a holiday even, Monday, Memorial Day, and then this happens, the Fair Labor Standard Act would say that they're working straight time on that Friday, even though they worked a 12-hour day, and I disagree with that.
Don't you count your vacation, like Memorial Day, you get 8 hours, wouldn't that automatically be added as
Well,
8 hours?
technically by Fair Labor Standard Act, it does not. But that's not the way we've done it in the past. We've done it where the holidays, you get your holiday pay and then work on top. But what I'm saying is that happen on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and then these guys are out here for 12 hours on Friday, and then they go out there Saturday. Or if they just had normal work all week and they were holiday Monday, vacation Tuesday because they were gone for the weekend, but then we had this disaster. These guys put in 12 hours. They worked they started at 6 and worked till 4 basically on Saturday. If it would have been holiday or vacation anywhere, these guys would have been working this overtime to get these roads closed and open at straight time, and I disagree with that. That's why the Saturday Sunday thing is in there. Now I'm not going to talk for other departments, with elections and conservation and things like that. I can't, because that's not my department. I'm not going to go there. I just feel that the 8 is an important thing, that you work the 8. Because here's another thing, if you go to a doctor, I'm trying to throw stuff out there that's not really, we haven't discussed this. If you went to the doctor from their normal time, 7 to 9, and then they only worked 6 more hours, and that 40 was in there, and then they worked 10 hours on Friday to open and close roads, that 2 hours extra on Friday is not overtime by Fair Labor Standard Act. Hence why it's important to say that above 8 is important, because these guys are opening and closing roads. These guys put a lot of hours in the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everything. So that's why I think it's a key importance of it. Now, if they worked 2 hours or same scenario, 2 hours, doctor, and then they worked till 5:30 instead of 3:30. Now they did work their 8 hours that day, but they're getting paid straight 10 on that day only. That would not affect their Friday per se. And so the Saturday, Sunday thing is a key thing. The 40, I understand that. But they were 12 hours on Friday, and I'm sorry, I don't think it's this. I still stand by the fact that we're basing the United States and working on an 8-hour day. That's different than I've been growing up in the wrong area, wrong country, because to me, you always base everything sort of on an 8-hour day. Now, that's me saying that. That's personal. That's me as my belief. I'm not going to talk what other departments do. You know, if they, I feel they should, every department should get it, to be honest with you, but that's my opinion, not.
Well, I mean, they're different, you know, the conservation department does do some overtime,
But,
but,
and that's a good example, because they do
I wondered about that.
9-hour days. They do Monday through Thursday, 9-hour days, and 4 hours on Saturday.
right. A
So
lot of-
if this was implemented for them, they'd get time and a half for an hour, it was
like you
four
say, a lot
hours
of-
every week.
One of them has patrol parks, and holiday weekends are,
You would have to
you know, 'cause
look
that's when
at
they have
that
campers.
as an understanding or let her understand. They're not union conservation either. Because there are some counties that do 10-hour days. And they don't pay overtime on that, but that's a working agreement to allow 10-hour days and not get overtime per se. Now, when it comes to they are off on Friday, technically, I don't know how they do that. We've been approached about doing 10-hour days, and I'm just like, yeah, there's some benefits of it, but I think there's still some. What would have happened Friday if it would have been 10-hour days? We had 40 in, and then now we're everything. So there's a catch both ways. You got to look at it both ways. I'm for every department, but again, that becomes a small budgetary item for each of the different departments. I know that. It doesn't happen a lot. Mine's probably the biggest one. So
Yeah, I have no idea, you know, for, like you said, conservation, how much,
Oh, Adam
That
provided me a
happens to them.
list once, it's not a big deal, they use
They have
flex
lots
time.
of, they have lots of comp time built up at this point.
Right.
They-
But again, you know, the weekends are when they have, you know, campers are there, and it's,
or events.
you know, the big ones, Memorial Day, Labor Day, you know, so somebody's checking the campgrounds every.
Mhm.
And Tyler mostly gets called out with issues, you know, somebody's trespassing in the park, or those kind of things.
So how would you
When it can't
treat
rest.
that part if they
They're
work
using comp
9
time.
hours? How do you treat them if they work 9-hour days? And 4 hours on Friday? How would you treat this policy as it's written for them? When they work their schedule is a 9-hour day. And this says if you work over 8 hours a day, you get time and a half.
but maybe that's why Mike wanted it separate. But I don't know. I can't-
Because it
I
is
can't.
different.
Mm.
So your example right there, it becomes two different situations between secondary
Right.
roads and conservation. So now we're already talking two separate ways of looking at it.
And I know public health, it's not very often, but they do.
They have a policy for
Especially the
on-call.
nurses, yeah.
But that's treated differently than this too. That's an on-call situation that they have.
So again, do we keep both sections?
I would say so, unless. I guess we recognize the fact that they're different jobs, different departments.
Supervisor Keelan, what's your thoughts?
Okay with that?
All right, was there anything else then, Gloria, that it needed to be discussed besides that?
Yesterday we went through everything. We were just, again, if you can see the highlights, there were just some, a lot of it, some changes were just capitalizing the C for county and then just state and federal updates. so even I think we talked about it. And we've gone through, at department head meeting, we talked about all the changes. What we didn't have at the department head meeting was what Aaron was doing with updating the contract to state and federal language that they're putting in handbooks now. But we talked about that yesterday prior.
In 5.2, there was about using your sick leave, using your vacation leave before.
That's the FMLA thing, that they have to use their sick time before they can use vacation. That clarifies that
Yeah.
part. Change vision benefit to wellness benefit.
All right, that's it. So do we have a motion to approve the Floyd County Employee Handbook?
I would move to approve the updates in the Floyd County Employee Handbook.
Okay,
Okay.
seconded the motion?
All right, motion made and seconded, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's been a long time coming. We've been working on this a long time.
Give me signatures.
Okay.
That bridge. Perfect, thank you.
All right, Dusty, you're not off the hook. All right, now we jump back down to item 16, review/action regarding notice of retirement from a secondary road employee.
I did not make a copy. Do you want a copy of this?
We usually keep one for our
Yeah,
files, so if I can get one.
I'll get one after, okay. Basically, this is just us, and I will be retiring from Floyd County employment effective on June 29th of 2018. I am very lucky to have had such a job. Floyd County has been very good to me. I will miss all the guys and hope to run into them and you in the future. Thanks, Brad Butterfield. So as of the end of the month, June 29th, Brad will be no longer employed here.
Okay.
So I just recommended it. Well, I don't know if I even have to recommend it, just you guys go through your motion to accept the letter of resignation, I think.
It is a retirement.
Retirement. He went through his stuff.
Do we have a motion to accept the retirement?
Move to approve the retirement of Brad Butterfield after how many years service?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
it's been there a long time, hasn't it?
He blew it up, I forgot the one. Been quite a while. Longer than me, how's that sound?
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
35 years.
35.
Quite a while.
Losing some longtime employees here.
Yes.
All right. Item 17, discussion with county engineer regarding secondary road activities. Give us an update.
I could joke and
I
say we
mean,
haven't had anything going on, but that's not a good
well,
joke, so.
we know better than that.
These are from the last four foreman's meetings, because I missed the end of the last month's meeting. There's timesheets, 3 timesheets. I mean, we had started contract rock just to, but before I get to the flood stuff, we had started contract rock last week, which we didn't get too far before all this happened.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so we're kind of on hold with contract rock until we get roads up and running a little better. Go to the projects here. A couple of our day labor projects are going to be delayed, obviously, because of what's been happening with the rains. As far as the contract projects, the Quarry Road north of the ethanol plant, as they started that
How's it
last
going?
week, they started tearing out the old road and started grading, moving off the black dirt off the top. They have to salvage that and bring that back on after the fact. And they started about some 1,000 feet up the road from the ethanol road and worked their way back. They're going to do it in sections. So so that when they get everything graded, then they can move the black dirt in and seed it with permanent seeding right away, just like we did T26 more or less. And then they'll continue. Obviously, the rain's kind of delayed that a little bit, so we'll just kind of see how things pan out. I'll know more today where we're at, because this was just last week they were working on that. As far as the bridge up on 170th Street, all the east pier pile were driven in the ground. We met bearing. There was 70 foot required in that, or was planned in that, and it came out to be like 68, 69 feet. So the pile borings actually came through with exactly what we needed, because there's an artesian well down below that we didn't want to drive into. So that all was driven. They started last week with the sheet pile around the east pier, because they have to get the sheet pile in to excavate it so that they can drive the pier or pile in for the pier, and then the floods hit. So it's
That
not a
was my
bad thing
question.
because
I haven't been
they
down.
I get a text, there was a D6R in the water somewhere from
I don't even know where half the stuff was under. But that's a good thing, because they didn't have the sheet pile finished, and just make a big square is what they do, and then they excavate that out to get it down to the level they need, and then they drive the pile. So they were at the point where it was still full of sand, so it didn't really matter at this point. They had been starting the grade work on the west side, which is good. They were still moving dirt as I'm not sure where we're at on that little cedar. That was up. They did get silt fence up late Thursday, but I'm sure that whole thing was underwater. So the silt fence was there for protection, and I don't know, it's probably buried. So, so we're monitoring that. I know Dwayne was running to that one. Brian was running to the paving, and so I'll get an update on that later today after these rains. So, as far as roads, I estimated high when I talked to you Sunday when I came in. I was thinking $500,000 worth of damage. I thought maybe even more, but that's not knowing the extent of all the damage.
Right.
The damage from about a month ago was, I would guesstimate, around $100,000. That was the May 4th, 5th incident. Blah, blah, blah. Then, which I was out of town that day. I'm going to joke here now. And then Friday,
Stop leaving.
I was in Des Moines, and then all that rain hit. Of course, that we were closing roads. There was probably 5-6 spots that were closed because of the Friday rain. That was more around the Rudd area, north of the county line. And then Saturday, I went to Prairie Sheen, and then we got the heavy rains again. So like I said, I was joking, I got to stop leaving town.
Stop leaving.
I think in 2008 when that happened, I was in Minneapolis, so I got it really maybe over the 4th. Just make sure you're not in any low-lying areas, I guess, because I'll be gone to Michigan. So our guesstimate, and I was talking with Calvin a little bit, we're working on maps right now. I'm betting anywhere from $350,000 to $400,000 worth of damage. I know we got declared by the governor, this, Chickasaw, there was about 7 of the counties.
Right.
Until we get the presidential declaration, that means nothing to us, so
That's what I'm wondering.
more or less. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, for my sake at least. A lot of the damage, if you went south, and you're right in the middle of all of it, down where you live. Packard Avenue, was closed quite a few spots that night. Clarksville Road was over the roads there. Right now, the concentration, which should wrap up today, is we're concentrating everything on the hard surface roads to open those, make sure all those are good. The bad thing about the farm market roads, or the the major collectors, I want to call them, are the hard surface roads basically. Those are not covered by FEMA anyways. Those are ER state funds, and those have to have $5,000 per location to cover getting the expense back anyways. Those are even separate, so even if we don't get declared, ER is different, and we won't have $5,000 per location, so we'll be eating those anyways. From there, we'll be concentrating on the closed roads that are closed right now, and then after the closed roads, we'll be dealing with the farm and market roads where there are washes, not necessarily closed. There may be a barricade here, a horse here, a horse there, to say there's rough road. And then from the farm and markets, we'll go to the area service roads, which are the local roads.
How many
roads.
closed roads do we have?
I would bet right now, I'm talking with Calvin, we're anywhere 10 to 12 hard closures, which is not a lot, but it's better than it was a couple years ago, I guess. But
I told you yesterday, I drove from Rockland to
But-
Nashua, pretty much on 290 down John Elias.
a license, his island.
His island.
Yeah. We got him in and out of, that was the big work on Saturday to get him out of, he was landlocked basically. That road was just gone. Every time that river comes up, it's gone.
He
basically
had 10 foot of grass around his house and that was
Yeah, yeah.
Everything else, his whole entire farm.
Yeah, yeah. I'm betting there's 400 miles worth of affected gravel roads, hard surface road, whatever you want to say, to the point where we're going to be hauling rock, blading rock, doing whatever we can. We've got some contractors come in to help us with some of that work. And, it's just one of those things that, we don't get the president, we're going to have to absorb it and move forward. But that, I hate saying that every time it comes up, but, we'll get the roads back. It's nice having the FEMA, even though the red tape is sometimes a nightmare, we'll keep plugging on. So after today, the hard service should be back to halfway. Not a hole in the road here, a hole in the road there. Did they open the 4 lanes again? Is that back open now?
Yes,
That was
they
open
did
yesterday
yesterday morning,
Okay.
is what Jeff.
Because I know Sunday when I was out there, they were gearing up to gear up. They had a bunch of poles come in and.
So when you
Yeah, they-
talk about though, working on the hard surface roads, are you talking damage to the hard surface itself or also the gravel
No,
that is
it's like
around
Clark-
Won't be the
that's
shoulders,
washed out?
the shoulders, like south down there, south of the fairgrounds, that right where
Right.
they have that, the windmill, people have that whole setting, which is in a low spot. If they didn't know that, they do know that now because
They
everything was
figured that out.
underwater.
They do.
That culvert, I think, rusted out and that whole shoulder was gone. There's a hole as big as this table,
Right.
not bigger. And it's not under the pavement, it didn't destroy the pavement, and I look and you can't see through, so my thinking is it was a hole in the culvert that caused it to scour out as that shot through, because you look on the outlet side and it's fine.
Just east of Keppel, that box culvert.
Yeah,
I did the dirt work on that box culvert, but the south end of that is bare.
yeah. Yeah, if you go, east of Keppel's down there, and then we have all those low, tanker cars areas and things like that. There's a lot of low areas that.
Looked like they were fine.
Yeah.
Across those yesterday.
A couple years ago they weren't, but this year it looked like they're. So there's spots down by the Wrong Bridge or Eliason or whatever his name is. Yeah, there's some bad washouts, but
Yeah.
Glenn Zubrad's big setup down in there, there's some
damage
pretty
there.
major stuff there.
That's
So,
a topsoil.
that's on
Do you guys
290.
go out and dredge out any of that topsoil or anything? Do the farmers do that if they want to do
Off the right of way, you mean? In the
that?
field?
ditches and
In the
stuff?
ditches? Only if it's affecting the crossroad culverts or effectively making some sort of damage to our road. Other than that, we got corn stalks out there. We'll remove the corn stalks just at the pipe areas to open up the culverts, but we probably won't do much with the corn stalks.
That's almost
There's a lot of corn
100%.
stalks
Every
everywhere.
single crossing, there's an island of corn stalks.
Yeah.
And that's probably the bad thing, the time of year. If you'd have been a month and a half later, the corn in the field would have probably held back a lot of that. Now you just have open free reign and all the stocks, there's no till farming or whatever, that causes a lot of problems. And we'll get the culverts open, but again, unless it's causing a major hazard or potential damage with our culverts or roadway, we may not touch that. It just depends. You gotta look at each situation different. So, we've got damage, they're gonna continue on, keep our head above water, per se. Move forward and keep plugging along. After today, I was talking to Cal this morning, the hard surface should be back to halfway okay, and let's start concentrating on the closure parts to get them open. And then the wash areas, like I said, there's 300-400 miles worth of wash areas where it came up, it washed real fast, and there's still a roadway there, but it's a washboard, so I'd make sure you put in the notes that to be careful driving out there, because there's going to be hazards that people are going to come up on. Don't be driving 60 miles an hour down the gravel road.
Right.
I did get a call from Butler County, and I got a call from Saragordo County, I got a call from Mitchell County. If we needed anything as far as signs. We were at that point so fast on Saturday that we were running out of signs again.
I
So
wondered about that.
they offered signs. I did get a call. I just want to note this too, that I think Rockford must have known their road foreman or superintendent in
Randy Schweitzer.
Randy.
Butler County. The Butler County superintendent though, for roads, and wanted to know about helping out the city of Rockford. I did not get that request I just want to note it that I didn't get that request. John Ryer, the county engineer for Butler County, basically said I didn't know if I could send anybody or not. And I didn't want to step on your toes. I don't want it to be that, hey, Floyd County didn't help the city of Rockford, but Butler County's up there. So I said, well, that's up to you, John, if you want to send something. I'll just note that we have every guy doing what we can to open our roads right now. I can't really send Rockford anything right now. And I don't know if most of there was the wind damage probably. I don't know how much flood
Well,
damage.
It really
Trees.
wasn't
Yeah.
flood.
I don't know if it was flooded, maybe the campground area like normal, but I don't know.
Park was flooded.
Yeah,
The park.
that's normal-ish.
Well,
I just want you guys aware of it right now. I've got to concentrate on our roads.
Right.
If we got to a point that we could haul some stuff away
they're
later,
in good
maybe.
shape. They've called off the volunteer help now.
Okay. I just want you aware of it. You can say, well, Butler County was up there, but Floyd didn't do anything for their own city. You know, I don't want that.
Well, and I'm thinking about going over to their, I told Scott, they've got a city council meeting on Thursday night, and we've talked about the declaration and everything, and what we can do to help there, and I might just run over and just, it'd be, you know, because I told them, they're gonna kind of recap too, how everything went, you know, from their perspective, you know, did it work, did they have good communication, you know, were there issues that need to be addressed, and so I wanna, you know, hear from them too, so, and that might be brought up, I don't know, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I just want you guys aware,
Okay,
so if you
sure.
do hear that, it's not that we wouldn't potentially help, it's just that
Right.
we've got to make sure we get our roads running open for everybody.
I don't really think they had flood damage at all. As a matter of fact, Scott said they should sell Floyd
Trees.
County, thanks for taking that dam out.
Yeah, he's always said that dam has really helped not being there, yeah.
Maybe send a note to.
That's the guy down there with trucks and skid loader yesterday, and they pretty well finished up the tree cleanup except for
But
private.
freed up all of their roads
Yeah.
there in town, so people can,
The only map that
I think
I,
that works with the mutual aid thing anyway, that Mitchell County thing.
Yeah.
Mutual aid agreements with the other counties.
yeah. I mean, the map, quick map I had from Sunday when I stopped, and, you know, was basically that south, I said, kind of hovers around Mark's house, you know, down here south of 14 and all that. But the stuff from Friday, you know, was up in this
Up in
neck
the
of the woods. So we have some closures up there and on down. So, I mean, we'll keep plugging along to get, we'll go to the closures next, and after that, we'll continue with the rough areas.
right.
Start with the FM routes first and then go from there. Some of the areas didn't have much, you know. I go northeast part, I only had, like I said, 1.5 inches Saturday in my house. Greg Stryker lives up by
Waverly,
Caldwell had
That's what
20,
we
Waverly
had too, was an
barely had
inch and a
any.
half,
oh,
yeah, so it was just
Probably.
very spotty,
2 inches in New Hampton, I heard, and
yeah,
just depends where you're at.
yeah.
So that's what I got. I guess if you guys got anything else, we'll keep moving forward and continue with project stuff for next year, which is continual. Contract rock will start up at some point after we get this stuff kind of squared away.
We appreciate all your hard efforts.
I
It's-
want to give the credit to the guys again. They're out there doing it, and I'm, you know, I was getting phone calls. I was talking to Calvin a little bit, and then I was like, okay, what do you need? Do what you need, you know. And they're out there. I was heard on the radio all day Friday because I came back from Des Moines. I got here about 3, and that's when I was kind of seeing what was going on. Calvin was sending me updates, and then Saturday was similar to work here or there, and then the whole thing hit there, and it was just like, I think the one when you called me, I don't think we could even get there. That was the hard part about the one we
Yeah,
wanted the
definitely.
closure, and I was like, Calvin goes, I would if I could get there.
Yeah.
He wanted to know if we could get a helicopter. I'm like, I was like, that might be out of the budget.
Where are you
a
gonna
little
find a
bit.
helicopter? You gonna
And I said,
find
did he
that
want a helicopter to get out of the county? Is what I'm thinking, not to help haul signs. So, no, those guys
How much weight
are doing
could
an
a
excellent
drone
job.
carry? How
What's
much
that?
weight could a drone carry?
I don't know. Their battery only lasts like 20 minutes. It's not good enough.
Say goodbye to that drone.
But no, the guys have always done an excellent job in this stuff, and we do the best we can to keep things getting back open. And the hardest part is closing them, so and they're getting a million calls. Calvin was getting off the hook, and we're going to try to work something with the EOC dispatch. And in storms like this, it's worked out really good to maybe get a call every half hour, not every 2 minutes from, hey, this road, this. Because they're out there closing the roads. They are. They're not sitting at shop waiting for that phone call. So every time Calvin would 2 minutes and another phone call comes, Jeff called him, and it's like, why is Jeff calling me? You know, because he was helping all this and that, and then it was
They're
this, and he
getting
says,
calls
and so it turned
downstairs.
into
Right,
where it's a lot better because the dispatch people will get a list, and every half hour give me the list, and that works out really good. Because they're out there closing the roads anyways, they know that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right,
it's-
and I know when I was down at the EOC too, we talked about, when this is all said and done, we just need to regroup, and review that, the whole process of communication, how we coordinate between us and dispatch, and.
And sometimes the sheriff's office, we got some new deputies and stuff. I mean, the biggest thing is, hey, I'm on 200th Street between this road and that road. That's the biggest thing that, that if they don't know where they're at,
Right.
to know that. And then the dispatch people are pretty good, I remember the floods from a couple years ago was, well, there's a hole in the road on Kenwood or whatever avenue. I'm like, where? Well, I don't know. Well, there's a whole stretch from here to here, county line, that doesn't help me. I need to know the crossroad.
Yeah,
And so working with Calvin too, the dispatch people, we really got, when storms like this, call me every half hour list, don't call me every 5 minutes. Because you can't get your head on straight to know where you're going, and then all of a sudden you're answering the phone to do this.
Right.
And that's why Jeff goes, I didn't know if I should have called Calvin, and I'm like, best thing is to maybe go through that dispatch, let them take the list, but we'll work that out. We'll do
and
that.
I
good
guess
to
my
know.
recommendation is knowing that you have some things too to, cover with dispatch. What I had recommended to Leslie is maybe we can just schedule some time to meet with dispatch and the EOC together. So
Yep.
that way, we're all talking, together and coming up with, possible improvements.
And back to Johnny Lassen again, when I told him, I talked to him again this morning, and he thinks there should be another culvert, and I said, well, what I saw to the south, unfortunately, they're doing everything that should be done. There's more and more pastures, more and more trees, there's more and more CRP down there, but all that's doing is holding it back, which is what you wanna do with water, rather than send it down, but unfortunately, it's not gonna make his problem.
We
And
increased the
apparently
size
that's
of
been
this
an
culvert
issue.
one time, and that doesn't affect it, because all the water reaches its elevation and it surrounds his house anyways. The culvert's not doing anything different.
Right, exactly. But if you look to the south area, there's more and more CRP that,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it not being farmed down there now, which holds the water back, which is what it should be, but unfortunately. it's
This
all-
might be the first time in 17 years that flood got worse than Chickasaw. Usually
That's why I
Chickasaw
asked
get
you,
hit
are
hard.
we
I
worse?
probably got about $100,000 north of Nashua area.
Huh.
And then now the Wapsie was still coming up yesterday. We were closing roads last night as it was slowly getting, must have been a lot of rain up north.
What?
That Wapsie
Was.
just, as the day went, it was
Yeah.
closing up here, then an hour later we were closing here, and then we got to Highway 18, then we got down there. So by 5 o'clock this year, we were closing the 290th at the south end. I don't have anything else. You guys
Well,
have?
again, thanks for the
Right.
updates.
Yep.
Any further questions?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, thanks for coming.
Move to
Item
adjourn.
18,
Move to adjourn.
do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, motion made and seconded, we're adjourned.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're gonna-